all here. I think this is an amazing panel because for some people, these are different products or products or services where they are competing for the attention of people, but indeed they work together, okay, for all the ecosystem. So it's great to have different point of views from different technologies and different layers, okay? So first, I will give you a few minutes or less than a few minutes for presenting anyone. Please, Solange, start to present yourself with your title, what do you do in Chainlink, etc.
Oh, hello everyone. My name is Solange Gueiros, and I am a developer advocate at Chainlink Labs. I teach developers how to use the Chainlink services. So Chainlink, it's a Oracle, it's not a blockchain. And I'd like to tell you that I will talk here, I will defend Ethereum here. So my blockchain that I'm talking here, it's Ethereum. And some moment I can talk a bit about Chainlink, but the focus is talk about Ethereum.
Please, Fred, introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Is this working? Yeah, perfect. So first of all, I just want to thank Seba for inviting us to be in the panel. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And
Thank you.
It's really nice to be with like heavyweights from all like the major protocols in our industry, right? Because these conversations are healthy. They're very good. So I am Fred Estante. I am head of product marketing at the Algorand Foundation. And for those of you who don't know Algorand, Algorand is a layer 1 blockchain that has been built to be the perfect solution if you're looking for a layer 1 that's performant. So if you're looking for scale, if you're looking for speed, if you're looking for throughput with low fees and a way to treat assets as first-class citizens. So if you're working to tokenization of real-world assets, then Algorand is a really good choice for you. So I hope that over the next 30 minutes we get to chat and talk a little bit about the differences and the highlights of each of our protocols. So looking forward to this.
Thank you, please, Tim.
Thank you, Sebastian, and thank you, Buenos Aires, Argentina, to have me as your guest. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Tim. I'm the Chief Product Officer at IOV Labs. IOV Labs is the biggest contributor to the rootstock blockchain, formerly known as RSK, or RSK, as I heard people name it in Argentina, Latin America. In my RSK, what is rootstock? It's a layer 2 on Bitcoin. It allows you to build on Bitcoin. And in my role, I'm responsible for making sure that our builders and entrepreneurs that who want to build on Bitcoin, that our technical platform fulfills the needs that they have. Thank you.
Okay,
Antoni,
thanks.
Please.
Last but not least, well, now, thanks for having us here, and well, I think we are one of the last panels, which means that you will be free in a few minutes. But well, no, mainly my point is that in 2018 we created Ident 3 and Hermes to apply zero-knowledge proof solutions. With the time, in 2021, we merged with Polygon, and now Polygon is trying to bring the scalability to Ethereum, but unifying liquidity. Okay, that is something that we will develop later. We are on this path, and currently I'm on the BD part of the ZKVM, let's say, and at the same time trying to push our identity solution that it's Polygon ID.
Thank you very much. So, well, I present myself very briefly. Like, I am the co-founder of CoinFabric, a company focused on Web3 security, okay, all its development and research. So we work with all these technologies, and it's great to have questions to ask here to all of you. So first, I will say that some here, like for example, Algorand is a layer 1 protocol, okay? We have Polygon and we have RSK, and we have Chainlink, which are layer 2, but different layer 2. Like we have, one is a sidechain, another an EVM compatible like Polygon sidechain, and we have the Chainlink where we can, through oracles, we can bring data from the outside world, the off-chain world, to the blockchain, okay? So these are different things. So the first question is, what do you think is the most attractive factor, okay, for developers and or the audience to use your technology?
So let's start that. I'd like to start telling that there are no perfect blockchain. This is my view in the way that I think we have blockchains with different purpose, and one blockchain can be good for one point and another blockchain can be good for another point. Like I said before, because Chainlink is not a blockchain, Chainlink it's a set of services that, yes, I work with Ethereum, I work with Rootstock, I work with Polygon, not onboarded yet. Let's see when we are, yes, when we'll be together. But talking about Ethereum, Ethereum, it was the first blockchain with smart contracts, with the capability to not only like send coins, transfer money, and do a small program, but to be really create any kind of program being a smart contract. So this is, for me, is the powerful of Ethereum. And to be, exactly because it's the first and the oldest, we can say that it's the base. Like we can say that RSK and Polygon are, in fact, has a bit of influence of Ethereum. I don't know so much about Algorand, but I'd like to ask Fred if Ethereum has some influence on Algorand as well. You can answer me later as well. But I think this is the point that make a difference. And Ethereum has a huge roadmap. Is not done, didn't supposed to be done, and even his roadmap is like flexible in the way that we must do to have like a universal computer. I think for me, and why I'm like talking more about Ethereum, because this is the fundamental, including for the others.
Thank you.
Don't really forget my question.
All right, perfect. So just to begin, I fully agree with Solange that there's not a perfect blockchain, right? But there are blockchains that are truly specific for, that are optimized for specific use cases, right? Is it better now? Oh, thank you, appreciate it. So, you know, there's not a perfect blockchain, but there are blockchains that are fine-tuned or optimized for specific blockchains, right? So, I mean, right here in this panel, we have like a fantastic, a fantastic sampling of this. Because let's say, you know, you're building an application and your application truly needs very deep liquidity to be successful. Well, you might want to really consider looking into Ethereum, right? That's where currently the liquidity is. But what about, you know, if to you, like for you to build your protocol, whatever you're building, you know, you truly like Bitcoin's security model. So you really want to build on top of a solution that, you know, is leveraging proof of work. That's also fine. You have a possibility for that. If your project, your solution is looking for privacy, well, there you go. You have a privacy focus, you know, layer 2, a solution that's coming. And just like this, you know, Algorand is also has its moment, its place to shine, right? So again, just as I mentioned before, if your solution is maybe like high volume, high transactional volume, so you're building something that you're going to be dealing in a daily basis with, you know, hundreds of thousands of users, millions of users, you know, throughput is important. And Algorand, you know, at current speeds, you can process around 10,000 transactions per second, right? Speed, if it's also a factor to you, well, Algorand is good there. You know, our block times are around 3.3 seconds. There's no forks, no rollbacks. You know, every transaction, when it hits on chain, it's final. So Algorand is good for that as well. And of course, nothing, you know, but none of this makes any sense. You know, you can be scalable, you can be fast, but if you're not cheap and accessible, then, you know, most business models are going to die right off the start, right? Because if each transaction is costing, you know, several dollars, or it's going to take a long time to finalize, well, if you have to do 1 million transactions a day, your OPEX is most likely not going to survive. So, you know, that's what Algorand is also a good solution, because you can currently do, you know, around 10,000 transactions for $1. So, you know, every blockchain has its highlights, the best premises that you can leverage for, but it's also not, but it also has its flaws, just like Solange really pointed out. Do my time.
Thank you, this team.
Well said, Fred. I completely agree. So if you want to build your application to last, if you want your application to be here not only in 1 year, not only in 5 years, but in 20 years from now, you should be building on Bitcoin. And you can do that with Rootstock. what does Bitcoin, building on Bitcoin with Rootstock mean? It means that you have Bitcoin as the native asset in the network. With Rootstock, you don't need an additional money token to pay for gas fees. It's just Bitcoin. So building on Bitcoin means you use the Bitcoin asset. Secondly, the Rootstock network is secured by the Bitcoin network. The majority of Bitcoin miners also mines Rootstock blocks. And it's this unique combination why we call it building on Bitcoin. Secondly, Rootstock is an EVM-compatible blockchain, which means that you can build using Solidity. You can use the tools that you already know from other EVM tools. You can port your solution and basically to a blockchain that's building on Bitcoin. So you have basically the best of both worlds. Security of Bitcoin, Bitcoin the asset, and the programmability and the interoperability of Ethereum. So with Rootstock, security, building for last, high levels of decentralization. It's not the fastest, it's not the cheapest, but with 30-second block confirmation times and about 3-cent transaction fees, it's not bad either. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, team. Please, Antoni.
Well, I think that all of them, they have said almost everything or very interesting things, but for me about Polygon, there are two key factors. One is that you can copy-paste a smart contract from Ethereum and paste it in the ZK rollup or in the POS, and it will work. And the difference, because it's EVM compatible, and the difference is that you will, instead of 15 transactions per second, you will have thousands. That's the first thing. The second thing is that also thanks to the zero-knowledge proof technology, and adding a ZK prover or the ZK rollup in a layer 2, also it can be aggregated in a layer 1 if required. But the question is that we can create this aggregation layer. Okay, we have seen one of the problems that I see in our blockchain environment is that it's extremely fragmented. Okay, and then with this, which is the problem? That if you have one asset in one layer 2, for example, you need to come back to Ethereum and to upload it to another layer 2, and you pay $100, $200 or $50 in the process, whatever. But with this aggregation layer, you will be able to jump for a very residual price, for cents. Okay, and I think this is what can help us to really get some traction. And yes, these are the two main aspects. No? One is this interoperability, and the other is that you are EVM compatible.
Perfect, thank you. I think maybe many people from the audience are Web2 developers, okay? They are excited about the things that they are reading about this ecosystem, but they don't know how to start. Like, obviously, they can go to the web page, they can download the software, or use participate in some community. How do you think the migration, or I will not say the migration, I will say how to add Web3 skills to people that are used to Web2 skills? How do you think from your community, okay, perspective?
Yeah, this is a great question. I'm really an educator. So my goal is to educate people, is to teach how to create your first smart contract, not to teach only about chaining. And we really care about the Web2 developers. And the way that they learn, it's a bit different than other users in the way that you must do some kind of comparison in like how is some development in Web2. For example, when we talk about Web2, it's okay to deliver and to publish some part on production and then improve this later. But when we talk about Web3, we can do this in the way that the smart contract will be immutable. So after you publish your smart contract, you can change it. You can publish another version, another address, and point to the new version, but it's not the same. So there are some paradigms that we must change when we came from Web 2 to Web 3. This is one of them. Another is, if you talk about front-end developers, for example, the way that they connect with the Web 2 systems and the way that you connect in Web 3, in the decentralized network, it will be a bit different as well. But talk a bit more about how Chainlink contribute in bringing Web 2 developers to the system. I can really tell you that we have an education program so huge, and yes, I teach. When I'm teaching, I can create smart contracts on Ethereum. I create smart contracts on Polygon a lot of times, like participating in the Polygon events and meetup, create smart contracts with them. I already create some smart contracts with RSK. I worked on Rootstock before as well, and I really like Rootstock in the way that we have the both of the words, like the security of Bitcoin and also all the smart contracts from Ethereum. I think this is really amazing. But this is the point. The education part is so important, and we must take care of the fundamentals to bring more developers to work on Web3, and we know how this is important, and we really must to have more developers. We need developers on Web3.
Absolutely, and Seba, this is a fantastic question, and I'll just take a quick second to make an invitation that if you want to learn how to build an algorithm, you don't really have to go too far. Just gotta take a few quick steps. Go to the back. Algorithm has its hacker house right here at La Big Conf in Buenos Aires, happening today and tomorrow with some of our fantastic developer relation engineers. So if you want to just get exposed to the ecosystem, see what the algorithm tech stack is all about, go no further than just a few steps back. But going back to the point that Solange was just mentioning, of course, it's all about education, right? It's all about education and developer experience, right? And in algorithm, of course, just like everyone else, like Polygon, Rootstock, Ethereum, everyone else, you're constantly working on educational materials. Giving more examples, giving more codes, doing hackathons, doing bootcamps, doing tutorials, doing the basics of education. But Algorand, we decided to do something a little different because also, as we spoke in the beginning, Algorand is an up-and-coming blockchain. We're a challenger, so we got to do things different, right? And our CTO, John Woods, who unfortunately could not be here today, otherwise certainly he would be here in my place, he has basically 3 points that he's focusing his energy now. So it's developer experience, developer experience, and number 3, as you can get, is also developer experience, right? But we decided to actually...
Fred, sorry for interrupt you, but don't you think that, for example, universities should be more involved with all these things?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And we have efforts, working with universities to try to, get the students as they're learning how to code. But I think just to wrap up my thought, the direction that we decided to go was actually the other way. So now, with the upcoming release of AlgoKit 2.0, which is the framework to facilitate developing on Algorand, we're going to release, native support for Python. So we're actually, we're trying to remove the barrier of knowledge by going to the developers and allowing them to use the tools they already know, to just try to reduce the friction and the barrier of entry to get into the blockchain world.
Perfect, thank you. Please, Tim.
Yeah, I'd like to answer this question in a bit different way. We are, compared to the others here on stage, a relatively modest ecosystem. And we kind of take the white glove approach. If developers are interested to build on Rootstock, either EVM builders, Bitcoin Layer 2 builders, or Web 2 builders, we have 2 programs that we take them through. And obviously we have developer experience resources, we have great documentations, SDKs, etc., but it's these 2 programs for us that make the difference. We have 1 grants program. The 3rd wave of that grants program is starting right now. So if you're interested, if you're a team, if you're a project, come to our booth or visit the website and sign up. And that grants program is not only money, funding to get you started, but it's also white glove support. We have native speakers in Argentina. Rootstock is founded in Argentina. So our core devs, our core support team speak Spanish, speak English, and can help you out with the first steps. So it's more of a one-to-one personal approach, especially for people in Latin America and Argentina. And then for Web 2 builders and Web 2 companies, we have a co-creation program where we have product engineering teams on standby that can work together with Web 2 developers shoulder to shoulder to build solutions that solve problems in the real world. We're working with fintechs and with other companies, remittance companies, to plug their business into the blockchain.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that we are all quite aligned, and to say our history, I mean, in 2018, we were able, I mean, we had no money, and then we were only able to hire Web3 developers, but very junior ones. No? That is part, and this is part of our problem, that we are in a very closed ecosystem, and if we want to scale, it's impossible with the number of developers that we have today. But when we merged with Polygon, we had money, but also a huge challenge. And then our approach was to go for very good Web2 developers, and then Jordi almost educated them for 3 months, and suddenly in 3 months we had 20 extremely skilled developers, because if you're able to develop in one language, you will learn Rust and all the magic behind. No? Then this is one thing. For me, it's to look for web people in Web 2 and take the passions to educate them. I think that's crucial. And the second, and obviously they have spoken about that also, is related with education, with tech houses. We are doing that in Kenya or in the favelas in Rio. Obviously, we have a lot of material in our web page, all of us. But also at the same time, we are very committed. I mean, Jordi is teaching at Stanford, in Barcelona. I am also at the University of Zurich. I will go in 2 weeks in South Africa. I mean, the idea is to go to universities, to people who is just finishing their studies where there are blockchain masters. And I think that is also a good solution to create this good environment for developers.
Thank you, Antoni. I think we share, I don't know, say yes or no, that this ecosystem is a little bit crazy, okay? Generally speaking, like...
A bit, only a bit. Okay.
I have been in this space and there, like a lot of things change, not from 1 year to another only, but from one month to another, okay? One, like, there is a vision, some people have the vision of blockchains interacting in a decentralized way between themselves, okay? This is a vision, it's not the only one, okay? But a world where maybe we don't need exchanges, or we don't need centralized exchanges, or we need less centralized exchanges, okay? So one question is, how do you see, one, your interaction with other blockchains, okay, or other layers in the future, and how do you see, or what's your roadmap for the next 2 years, even if it's impossible, okay, to say what will happen, okay? Just maybe a guess or something personal. Please.
Yes, this question for me, I really love it, because this is the question that I can talk a bit Chainlink because it makes sense. Like I said before, Chainlink is not a blockchain. Chainlink, it's a set of services. And we just launched in July a service called CCAP. That's the protocol to interoperability. And yes, I'm so excited and so happy because I'm doing workshops now where I can start on Ethereum and finish on Polygon. Or I can start on Avalanche and finish on Polygon, and a lot of things like this. I used to do now to mint NFTs. Imagine that I'm starting minting an NFT on Polygon, but the NFT will appear on Ethereum. Yes, we can do this. And when we talk about interoperability, it's not about bridges, it's not about tokens, it's about how you can really exchange any kind of service, any kind of application, any kind of message like this, interact with smart contracts in other chains. And we launched this we are working on this so hard now and integrating more more blockchains. And I think this is the point related to interoperability, because yes, I don't believe that we have only one blockchain in the world, but we have different blockchains with different goals, but they must communicate all time for different reasons. Talk about roadmap, and then I can talk a bit about Ethereum, because Ethereum has a huge roadmap, and Ethereum just implement the account abstraction. That for me is one of the challenges with users and usability, and the account abstraction is a way that you can have wallets that can be a bit easy to users and to bring more users. For example, talking about future, they are implementing the proto-dark sharding, that the name is a bit strange, but it's a way to store information different, because imagine that the blockchain is growing and growing and growing, and how to have our blockchain in some computer. Maybe this will be impossible in the future. And one of the ways to solve this is a way that you can store data in a different way called blob, and they are implementing this now. So this is a bit what happened in some months ago, what will happen in the future, talking about Ethereum, and how we can have the interoperability.
Thank you. Please, Fred.
Fantastic. I fully second Solange's points, and I think that is a very good question, Seba. For example, at Algorand, our founder, Silvio Micali, one of the world's most renowned cryptographers, he agrees with Vitalik, thinking like, the future will be multi-chain. But we disagree with Vitalik when Vitalik said that the future would not be cross-chain. And we disagree with that, because if you use the right tools for the job and the right cryptographic primitives, you can actually allow for safe bridging between protocols, right? And Algorand takes this seriously. Again, going back to the point that I made before, we're the up-and-comers, we're the challengers, so we're here to propose new technologies, right? So Algorand has already begun rolling out this piece of technology called state proofs. It's highly technical, we're not going to get into here, but it's basically a way to save the entire state of the Algorand blockchain using a post-quantum signature scheme that summarizes the entire history of the ledger in one signature. And with that, you can power decentralized bridges. So you can bridge assets back and forth, for example, with Ethereum at a decentralized fashion, leveraging protocol level security. So that's something that we have already rolled out. It's already live and operational on Algorand. But of course, we continue to work on and build and refine and make it more efficient. But we truly believe that, yeah, the future is going to be multi-chain, each chain focusing on what they're best at, just like we spoke, but it's going to be cross-chain. So that's the future that we have, and that's the future we're working towards, but we have already, done the first step and put the paving for this.
Thank you. Please, Tim.
Yeah, I'll speed up. We have limited time. Yeah, so as I said earlier, you choose rootstock if you want to build something that lasts, that's still here in 10 years. And you also build a rootstock if you build for users who want to make sure that their assets are safe from unreliable governments, like we see in Argentina. So if you look at our roadmap, many resources go into our roadmap for progressive decentralization. So one of the things that we're currently doing is we're further decentralizing the bridge between Bitcoin and rootstock. So for example, currently we have around 9 pegnatories. These are the entities that govern your Bitcoin. If you use rootstock, they govern the POW pack, the proof of work pack that you use to bridge your Bitcoin into rootstock. And we're currently making this, and this is going to be a bit technical, we're currently preparing that bridge to be SegWit compatible, which will allow us to add 60 plus pegnatories to the bridge, increasing decentralization massively. Other things that we're working on, and that is a bit what Solange touched on as well, is usability. So we try to give our users and our builders optionality. If you want to go for a fully KYC, perfectly regulated solution, it's possible on rootstock. But we're also serving the other side for people who want a fully P2P decentralized way of managing their assets. We currently think that for the majority of users, self-custody is too complex. So we're also building out smart contract wallets, account abstraction. We just launched Riff Wallet, which is a wallet application, for example, that abstracts away gas fees. So you can, for example, hold your USDT, transact with your USDT on Rootstock without holding Bitcoin to pay for gas. So it's usability, decentralization, and last but not least, scalability. We realized that we're not the fastest, but we just launched a Zico rollup on Rootstock. And next year, we're planning to launch an EVM-compatible rollup on Rootstock.
Thank you, Tim. Please, Antoni.
Okay, very quickly. No, yes, answering your question, we need to be interoperable. And the reason is that, okay, you have your loyalty program, your payments, but your NFT, and these are interoperable, and your NFT is in another platform, you will use it less or you will not use it. No? Then I think that there will be, as now we have 3-4 credit cards and interacting between them, we will have that in the future. Then the answer is yes. And the second thing is that, well, that's precisely what we are trying to do now with all these different blockchains connected with this aggregation layer. And in the future, we are open to expand that to the whole ecosystem. Yes.
Thank you. Sadly, well, the time obviously passed. We have Aaron. Aaron is the devil, okay? But basically, I think the people can contact you, okay, to have more information and continue the discussion, okay? Well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.